What up, world? It's your boy JusRzd, and today we gotta chop it up about episode 3 of the Acolyte. Cause, bruh, do me a favor. Go ahead, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things that you know you're supposed to be doing. Anyway, we on YouTube now. What are you doing? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Spoiler warning off top, because they just revealed a lot of information in this episode. They started out just really divulging the backstory behind what happened in May and Osha's village when they were children and how they met the Jedi. So it was a lot of information that transpired in this episode. So like I said, spoiler warning on top, but we finna talk about this. So the episode starts out with May and Osha as children playing in a field. And it looks like Osha just kind of left the village and was out there playing, and May followed behind her to make sure that she came back to the village because they weren't technically allowed to be out there. And right off the bat, you kind of see the push and pull dynamic in their relationship, and kind of how May's got a little dark side to her, and she also wants to follow the rules of their civilization and of their culture. And Osha just kind of wants to be her own person. She just really wants the freedom of exploring and being her own person. They're in a place where there aren't any children. It's like they're the only 2 children in their village, and it's just like disheartening for her because she's like, man, I don't want to be tied to my sister. I don't want to only be tied to my sister and that be my only bane of existence. Like, I want to do my own thing. I want to see what else is out there in the world. So it was just interesting to see their dynamic even at a young age, especially after the first 2 episodes, and how both of them kind of went about different paths. So we see as they walk back to the village that or get escorted back to the village, that one of the Jedi, shout out to Master Soul, he wasn't a master then because it was 16 years ago, that we saw him see them as they went back, and they didn't see him see them. So it was interesting to just see him kind of spying on them a little bit, low-key. And then we get back to the village, and we're introduced to this quaint little quiet town and village, and then we're automatically introduced to their mother, and not only their mother, but she's also the leader of their village and their culture and belief system that they're in. They call themselves witches, and they call the group that they're in a coven. Now the way their mother's also a Force user, and the way their mother teaches about the Force is very different from how like Jedi or even Sith to an extent teach you about the Force and how to use it and how to manipulate it. It's similar, but it's different at the same time. And it almost reminded me of like the Night Sisters, but the Acolyte's supposed to take place like hundreds of years before the prequel series. So it's just like, we don't even really know if Night Sisters were a thing at this point, but this kind of reminds me of like early Night Sister like lore, and like how they use the Force and how they interact with the Force and stuff like that. So you just kind of pretty much get the backstory. You get to meet their mother. You get to just kind of see how their culture operates. And we see through this episode that May and Osha are being trained up for this ritual in this ceremony called the Ascension. And May is completely down for it. Like I said, she just really wants to follow the rules and uphold the culture that they're in. Osha's just like, man, I don't really want to do this. Like, just off the bat, this ain't really me. Like, this y'all thing. This ain't really working for me. Like, I just don't want to do this. I don't even want to be on this planet. Like, at the end of the day, I want to go see what's outside. So it's just it was just interesting to see the dynamic. And shout out to the two young actresses that played May and Osha as children. I feel like they did a good job, bless their hearts. I don't know how old they are, but they look like adorable children. And it was just interesting to just see how the different practices that their culture had, and just the different aspects of their culture and their nuances And just the way their mother taught them about the Force and kind of taught their people about the Force. And they call it a thread. They don't call it the Force. They call it a thread. And they're like, you can pull the thread, or you can do this with the thread. And it's just like, that's an interesting way to look at that. It's interesting. And so we get to this ceremony pretty much. The whole time we see them training for the ceremony, you see there is a drastic difference from the way May approaches their training and the way Osha approaches their training. Osha ain't really for all the games, and May is here for everything. She's locked in. She's like, I want to ascend. I'm for all this. And so we get to the ascension. They do their little ritual dances, and you got the mother giving a speech, and as she's giving a speech, you got random people in the crowd making noises. That kind of took me out of it for a second, because I was like, yo, did she just make a bird noise? Like, what is it? Like, what are we doing? Is this a ritual or not? Like, you can't just do that with a straight face and then I'm just supposed to take that serious. I would have been busting out laughing at that whole ritual. But that's neither here nor there. You can't just be making random noises, bro. But anyway, especially not in a serious moment like that. You just can't do that. You just can't do that. Expect me to be serious? Nah. Nah, I'm out. So of course, May goes first. She accepts the responsibilities and the credence of the ritual. She gets the mark, the little swirly thing that's in the corner of her forehead, and her mother tells her to go ascend. So her part of the ritual is done at that point, and then she's beginning to do Osha. And Osha already stated, she already told her sister, she was like, look, I don't want to do this. Like, I really don't want to do this. Her sister was like, well, do it for me. Do it for us. We got to uphold our culture. And she was just like, man, all right. So then she get up there, it's her time to do it, and she's super hesitant and uneasy about the whole thing. She's just like, do you want to ascend, and do you accept the responsibility? And she was just like, looks at her sister, I do too, maybe. Before she could before her mother could bless her with the mark, one of the followers come in and say, hey, the Jedi found us. And so they're like, all right, well, hide the children. So the children are hiding behind all the followers that were there for the ritual. And their mother goes to address the Jedi. And of course, it's Carrie-Ann Moss's character, Trinity's character. It's Master Soul. Of course, he's not a master yet. It's the young brother that was meditating in episode 2. He was actually a Padawan. He was actually Carrie-Ann Moss's Padawan at this time. And it was the Wookiee Jedi. Kudos to them for the Wookiee Jedi. I liked his design. His design was pretty cool. And so they interacting. They're going back and forth, having discourse with the Jedi and with her mother, and they're like, we've got word that you're hiding children here. And then of course the mother and her followers was like, well, that's not true, there's no children here. Then you see Master Soul and the Wookiee Jedi looking around, and they call out to the kids, and of course Osha steps forward and introduces herself, and it's just like, how y'all gonna lie? And the kids right there, y'all know the kids don't be listening, and y'all just gonna try to lie in front of the Jedi, in front of the kids. Like, the kids not gonna be able to be like, hey, we here. So it's just like, man. Her mom was sitting there irritated, like, you're supposed to be hiding, why are you introducing yourself? So anyway, Master Soul ends up talking to Osha in front of everybody and just kind of introduces her to the concept of Jedi. And he's like, yo, I feel like you should get tested. I feel like you should get tested for the Jedi. And is there any other children here with you? And of course she looks at her mom, and her mom gives her a head nod like, yeah, you can introduce your sister. So she introduces her sister. May comes forward, and he looks, he sees the mark. He's like, hold on, that won't dare this morning. So something changed. Something changed about this little girl. She got a mark right here that won't dare this morning. So he's just like, look, we want to test Osha, but we should test both of them to see if they're viable candidates to being Jedi. And of course, that's one thing that's always kind of bothered me with the way the Jedi Council goes about recruiting Jedi or younglings. It's like y'all just be pulling up at anybody's village that's force sensitive and be like, hey, let's test your kids, and if they work, we gonna take them. If they don't pass the test, then they'll go back. Maybe. It's just like, yo, that's kind of weird, bro. It's just a little bit weird. Just a little bit weird. That's one thing that's always been weird to me. It's just like, y'all don't ever let niggas just volunteer their kids. You just always be like, yeah, we gonna take them. Like, fam, what? You just gonna take my kids because they force sensitive? Chill out. So yeah, that's just always been weird to me. But it was interesting to see Osha was completely down for, yeah, I want to take the test and I want to be honest about it. And their mother was just like, all right, we'll bring them to you tomorrow, so y'all can test them. As soon as the Jedi leave, they pull the girls to the side. Well, she meets with with her inner council, and she's like, how should we go about this? Osha really wants to test him. That's my daughter. I love her. I feel like she should, Osha really wants to be tested. So that's my daughter. I love her. I feel like we should let them be tested. But if they pass, which they probably will because they are force sensitive, they're going to get taken. And if they don't, they're going to get sent back. So let's tell the kids to fail, so that way they can get sent back. Which, I mean, low key, kind of smart. So they tell May, of course May's down. I'll lie, sure. So the next day they go to get tested. May lies. Osha was resistant. She was like, I don't really want to lie, but I mean, if y'all say we gotta lie, then I guess I'll lie. So then she gets there. She starts talking to the Wookiee Jedi. They have their little conversation. Of course, we don't know what he's saying. But I don't know if she knows either. But they end up testing her. In the midst of them testing her, they're like, she kind of reveals the hand that they told her to lie. And Soul was just like, hold on. Did they tell you to not tell the truth in this test? And of course she confesses everything, and they were just like, all right, well, let's start again and let's do this one more time. And if you want to be honest about the answers, you can be honest about the answers. We can do this from jump. So they do it again. She's honest about the answers, and then she goes back. Her and May go back to the village, and they end up talking to their mother. And Osha just spills her guts. She was just like, I answered honestly. I didn't want to lie to him. I low-key want to be a Jedi. Like, I low-key want to be a Jedi. And her mother was just like, you done messed up the plan. You done messed up the rotation by being honest. We told you to lie. You agreed to lie. Now you done... You can see the disappointment in her mama's face. May was completely pissed off and just started low-key trying to Homer Simpson strangle her. So her mother was like, hey, get her out of here. Get her out. Go for a walk. Go for a walk. And so she sent May off for a while, and then she had a heart-to-heart with Osha. Osha was just like, well, if I accept it, I'll never see you again. And she was just like, nah, you'll never see me again. She was just like, but low-key, I want to be a Jedi. Like, I just can't shake that feeling. I legit want to be a Jedi. I want to go with them. So she was just like, all right, I'll let you go. Let me. Well, she didn't even say I'll let you go. She said, let me confer. Let me have a conversation with my council, and we'll keep your feelings in consideration. So she was just like, oh, okay, cool. So she goes to her room. She's packing up all her stuff to try to get ready to go. She gets to the door, proceeds to walk out. May's at the door. She's just like, yo, I'm not letting you go. I'm not gonna let you go. And Osha's like, yo, you can't stop me. Like, get out the way. She was just like, oh, I'll stop you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm like, oh, shorty tweaking. Like, this your twin sister, and you just starting to kill her because she trying to leave. Like, shorty, you tweaking. And she gave her the wackest push I've ever seen on any form of media. She just pushed her bag off her shoulder and took her journal, and then proceeded to lock her in her room, set her journal on fire, and then ended up setting her room on fire from the outside. And so Osha finds a way to get out of her room as it's being set ablaze. And as she's making her way out to try to pretty much escape from where she's at, whole time I'm like, dang, so her sister crazy like this? And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. And so she proceeds to continue to make her way to the entrance through her escape route that she's found. And she sees there's so much destruction and debris falling and everything going on. There's a lot of craziness going on. And you hear people screaming, you hear ground shaking. It's a lot of stuff going on. You're like, yo, what's happening? So she finally gets out to the main common area. She sees a lot of destruction. She sees May, and they're standing on like a catwalk area, but it has a divide in the middle because of the damage that has fallen their little housing area or whatever. And so May's like, Osha, come to me, and Osha's like, hold on, what did you do? Where's mother? And she just sat there just like, what did you do? So Osha's yelling at her like, what did you do? Then May and Osha's both sides of the catwalk fall over. Soul just happens to be there, and he ends up catching Osha before she's able to fall from his grasp. Pulls her up. May falls to God knows where, and then Soul pulls Osha pretty much out of their little living area, and as they're making their way out of the living area, Osha sees her mother. Her mother's laid on the floor. The whole time they're going through the living area, you just see everybody that was in that little village just kind of like strung out on the floor dead. And it's just like, yo, what happened? Did May snap? Or is something else afoot that we not aware of? I wonder. So yeah, anyway, they end up he pretty much ends up rescuing Osha and taking Osha with him to Coruscant, and they end up making it out of the little temple living area that they were in, and they're on the ship. Osha wakes up and she's like, yo, what happened? He was just like, we had to get you out of there. Everything was being destroyed. She was like, well, what happened to May and my mom? And then you see Soul start crying, and she starts crying. She was like, we gotta go back. He's like, we can't go back. It's nothing left. And I don't know, his demeanor kind of rubbed me the wrong way. That I get he was consoling Osha, and I don't mean wrong way in like a weird way, but I don't know, something just seemed off with Soul. Like I don't know if it was guilt or if, I don't know what it was, but his delivery was off for me. Not the actor, but the way Soul was delivering his lines, it was like, oh, is he feeling guilty? Is he feeling shame? Like, or is he feeling hurt for this girl who just lost her whole family? I don't know. It just seemed a little off to me. So I'm like, what happened? Because we never actually saw what happened. We just saw May and Osha see each other and then fall. And then as they're running through the temple, you see everybody dead. So we don't know technically what happened just yet. But they end up cutting from that part of the episode, and then they end up showing the tree that May and Osha were playing at outside earlier in the episode, and you see May pop up calling out for Osha at the tree, and then the episode ends. And so I feel I have so many questions about this episode, and I feel so conflicted about this episode, because I'm like, yo, I feel like one or two things happened, and I don't know which one it is, but both of them is messed up. Either way you want to toss it. I'm not gonna spoil the theory that I had. I'm gonna say it. Either I feel like either May snapped and killed everybody, or caused something that killed everybody, or the Jedi came through and wrecked house and killed everybody, and May saw him. I don't know, because he wasn't worried about May when he came to save him. He saw Osha and went for Osha, but May failed too. And I don't know if he didn't see May, or I don't know. And then the way he was dealing with Osha at the end, that's just my theory. I don't know. I don't know which one's true, which one's not. I don't know. I guess we'll find out later on through this series. But like I said, after episode 1 and 2, I'm locked in. I'm locked in. I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens at the end of this story. I want to see what happens. I want to see what really happened in the past, and why is May trying to kill all these Jedi? Because she got to have a reason why she's trying to kill all these Jedi. And why is Osha, you know what I mean? Like, Osha's kind of out of it, and she trusts the Jedi, but the Jedi seeming real, they seeming real shaky right about now after this episode. It's like, hold on, some ain't right, some ain't adding up. So for this particular episode, for episode 3, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Episode 3 gets a 7.5 for me. It was good. Showed the backstory, showed us just enough to remain interested, but not enough to really get some clear answers on what actually happened. So I'm interested to see where they going with this. So I give it 7.5 for episode 3. And yeah, let me know in the comments below if you have any thoughts, if you feel like one of my theories is correct, if you feel like if you feel like May snapped and killed everybody, or caused something that killed everybody, or if you feel like the Jedi came through and wrecked shop and May might have saw him, which is why he went for Osha instead of May. So I'm just like, I don't know. And he seemed a little guilty when he was talking to Osha when they was on the ship. So I'm just like, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that too. Let me know what other theories you might have about this show in the comment section. I look forward to chopping it up with y'all, and I appreciate y'all for watching another episode of Ray's Reviews. And yeah, don't forget to like the video, don't forget to share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Some of y'all might have viewed some of these and haven't been subscribed to the channel, but go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We do reviews every week. Every week I'm reviewing something. This last week it was Kaiju number 8, and it was the Acolyte. This week it's also going to be the Acolyte and Kaiju number 8 again. But you never know, I might have some more surprises for you. So subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can be notified anytime a new video pops up. Yeah, man. And don't forget, it's free soul to the soul free. Let's get it.